Hi, everyone. Welcome to Catch Up Crop with Skye. I'm Skye Peterson. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I'm sorry I'm getting a little bit of a late start. I had some technical difficulties. I actually went live 5 minutes ago and didn't realize that I was not recording. It wasn't actually on. So sorry about that. Um, Thanks for joining me tonight. Gosh, we have a lot to catch up on. We missed last month, so I apologize for that. I just at the very last minute, I had an appointment that went way too late. I mean, like it was just the perfect storm. We got stuck in traffic and so on and so forth. And then we went on vacation. But some of you may have seen some of my posts from when we were on holiday, which was just great. Um, so anyway, I hope you scrapped without me last month. I posted the link. I did post some pictures of my layouts that I completed with some notes on them. So hopefully that'll give you some inspiration to work on your September photos if you haven't already done that. So tonight we're doing October. Gosh, we after tonight we just have one more of these crops left. Can you believe that? Well, two actually, right? November and December, two more left, and we'll have done almost an entire album. That's just so exciting. If you've been sticking with me all year, it's been awesome. Please drop a note and say hi if you're watching and where you're watching from. I'm so glad that you've joined. What else can I say? You might notice I have a messy table in the background. I'm so excited. This weekend is my open house. So if you're local, please stop by. I've got an all-day crop like I typically do on Saturdays, but you can also just do a stop and shop if you'd like. And I've got great markdowns. I've got sales. I've got buy one, get one. I've got half off. I've got gifts with purchase. Um, I've got a grand prize drawing just for coming. You get a ticket into the grand prize. So this is my kind of end of the year inventory blowout and gives you an opportunity to maybe do some holiday shopping, whether you're shopping for yourself or for others. It's up to you. I do want to just mention I'm not feeling too great today. So if I sound funny, I've been a little bit foggy. So if I say or do anything that doesn't sound quite right, I'm just putting it out there right now that might be why. But I hope to stick with you. I have sort of gone through and done a little bit more in advance than I typically do, just to keep tonight's video a little bit shorter because I do hope to go back to work tomorrow. And so that means I need to go to bed. All right. So again, thanks for joining me. Let's go ahead and I'll switch my camera and let's start cropping. Also, I have a new camera. So you might notice the image is so much clearer and so much better. I'm still tweaking it a little bit. It's got a wide angle, and so it's a little bit distorted on the end. So I'm working on fixing that. So I hope that's not too distracting and that the quality of the image will make up for it. So we're doing our usual four layouts, two one pages, two pages. This is all of the goodies for tonight. So we've got our typical two trimmers, the 12-inch and the photo trimmer. I always have these things handy. My scissors, my multi-purpose tool, my white Pentel eraser, a pencil. Tonight I did pull out some decorative blades. I've got the new twist blade, the scallop, and the wave. We may not use all of those, but I set them out. Repo and regular tape runner as always. We need custom cutting system tonight, circles. You can also use the circle maker if you have it or whatever tool. And it doesn't have to be circle shapes. You can use, sub in other shapes. Border punch, border maker system. I'm using the cute little Rick Rack border maker cartridge. We'll have some fun with that. Hexagon punch is what I'm using. Again, any shape punch will work. You can do circles, you could do squares. You could cut your own squares using a decorative blade, which would be cute. And then I also grabbed this scallop circle maker for one of the layouts. So that's what we've got for tools. I think that should do it. I may grab something else here and there, but I don't think you need to. As always, I scrap on two 13-inch mats. And here are our layouts. So I've got my first, each of my sketches are in their own project folder with a copy of the sketch and my supplies in there. So, and photos. So I've organized each of them, and we'll just start here with sketch number one. All right, sketch number one, as we look at it, oh my gosh, isn't my camera so much more clear, you guys? I'm just so excited about that. Sketch number one, right here, a single page sketch. By the way, I am sticking to single pages for both of these tonight, but both of them really easily could be made into a 2-page sketch. And also, I think that two sketches go nicely together. So you could make this a 2-page layout by using one side and the other for your layouts. 4 photos, 3 vertical, 1 horizontal. If your photo configuration doesn't match that, you can always just turn it 90 degrees. And now you've got 1 vertical and 3 horizontals. So whatever works for you for your photo arrangement, you can alternate, or you can adjust your sketch. This is a really simple page in terms of there's kind of minimal paper layering. It's nothing complicated. It's easy straight cuts. This is one where we're using the custom cutting system. So for this, if you're following the measurements exactly, you need the medium and the large blades or large templates. And then you need the red and the blue blades. Now, the measurements don't have to be exact, so you could also use the green blade on a couple of these cuts, and it would not even be noticeable. So, but if we're sticking strictly with the measurements quoted on the sketch, then that's what we've got. All right. So the photos I'm doing, my daughter and I went to see a children's theater production of Oliver. And we kind of made a little mom and daughter night of it. We went out and had ramen. I had sushi, she had ramen, which are a couple of our favorite things. And we don't get to do that very often, or we haven't been doing that very often lately. So that was fun. So I have the photos, I've already cropped them, and I've given them, this is something you probably, if you follow me, have not seen me do before, but perhaps maybe once. I matted these photos with an 1/8 of an inch mat. So that means they have a 1/16 of an inch all the way around in white. And that just barely sets the photos off, but I do like the look of that. And they'll be on another mat as well. So they're going to be kind of double matted. I did pre-cut some of the circles, a journal box, and then I've got some of my bits for my border here, and I've got some leftover scraps for if I need to use those. All right, so this is a pretty straightforward sketch, as I mentioned. Other than the circles, it's straight lines. So I'm using this pretty check. This, by the way, comes from the food truck pack. It was an exclusive pack. You might have seen it as maybe a gift from your advisor, but it was not. It was an advisor exclusive, so it wouldn't have been on the main CM site. But I'm going to use this piece as the base. The back is this blue squiggle. And then I'm going to use this yellow stripe as the piece that's on the far left-hand side. And then I've got some more of this I'm using the back side for uh, the layers for the matting. So that's going to be pretty straightforward. And these are my photos. So you can see that little bit of white just sets them off just a touch. And I also wanted to kind of pick up a little bit of the white in this paper, this background paper. So really it couldn't get much easier than that. The photo sizes here, guys, are 3 by 5. All four of these photos are 3 by 5. This layer that we're using as the large mat is 10 by 5.5. And this top one is 5.5 by 3.5. And again, the white mats that I used, I just made them 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. Just a tiny bit to show there. Okay, so what I haven't decided on quite yet is how I'm going to do the border on the left-hand side. This collection did not come with a whole lot of embellishments. And so like I need to build a border, and I love this rickrack design. I want to make sure that I have this piece right where I want it, so that I have my border in the right place. Okay, so I cut out a couple strips. I also thought that I might cut out some white strips, or maybe give it a white background. So I feel like those strips get a little bit lost on this paper. So I think it does need a little bit of a background. So I was kind of playing around a little bit. You'll notice this is where my decorative edges came in. So here is the wavy edge on this side, and on this side is scallop. So I was just kind of playing around to see which side I thought, which decorative edge looked best with these rickrack border strips. And I think it's kind of 6 in one, half dozen in the other. I think they both would work just fine. I don't know. Does anybody have any opinions? I feel like this one is more noticeable. This one maybe is more consistent. I think I don't know if my light too. Not exactly sure how I would put this on here. Something like that. Something like that. This is where now I kind of get lost in the details here. Lost in the, can't see the forest through the trees. I think I'm gonna go with the wavy blade, because I just, with both sides of it being that way, I think I would like that a little bit better. The other side just seems like, it's a little bit too much. So I think, let's see, this is gonna be, maybe I'll cut this about 3/4 of an inch. Works. Up to an inch. And get my repo tape runner here. I haven't really played around a lot with exactly the placement that I want here, but I'm gonna try something like this. Turn this so that it's, yeah, I think this will be nice. I just leaving a little bit of a white strip in between. And keeping the edge on the outside. Feel like, I wonder if that looks crooked. I feel like my strip is not the right same size. So, see if I can straighten this up without having to do a whole new one. Yeah, it's a little bit wider at the top than it is at the bottom. I'll use some Post-its there so that this stays in place. I don't want that, you guys. I'm gonna try to see if I can fix this again. Okay. Right there. Okay. That should do it. Let's give this a shot. Thank goodness for repositional tape runner, right? Take two. All right, that's so far working well. Better. All right, there we go. That was worth the do-over on that. I think I'm much happier with that. It looks straight and consistent. Yellow piece is just a little bit longer. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put this down and then I can kind of build everything around. It looks like it's about a half an inch or so from the right-hand edge of the paper. And by using this white, I think it'll also kind of pick up a little bit on these white mats. I'm gonna put this one on first, just to make sure I have it in the middle. So this piece is 10 inches long, 10 by 5.5. So I'm going to put it so that the 5 is in the middle. I kind of center it top to bottom. Straighten it up. There we go. Right. Here, the back side of this yellow paper is so cute. It's got pizza and ice cream and tacos on it. So it's definitely a fun little fun paper pack. All right, and then this guy is gonna go. Do it an inch from the bottom. Like that. All right, and we need some circles. I did cut a couple of them already, but just to give you a glimpse at how the circles work. This small one goes, will go up here like that, and this larger one is gonna go down here. Is it going? I'm gonna leave it over the border. You could tuck it under or over your border depending on whatever you feel looks right for your particular design. All right, so we need another circle. We need a 5-inch circle. The 5-inch circle, we use the medium template and go on the outside of it with the red blade. And then this is gonna go, I'm gonna mount a journal box on this one. Journal, just lined journaling paper. And that's gonna be where I'm gonna do my journaling. Tuck this here, get my little. So this production was put on by the group that Nora has done plays with. She wasn't in this one, obviously, but it's a nice group of kids. We enjoy that a lot. They did a great job with it. Oliver, it had a lot of littles in it, which was kind of fun. All right. So like I said, there's not a ton of embellishments that came with this collection. So I have one just kind of fun little word art. Maybe I'll put like down there, right there. It says delicious. So what I did was this is where I used this 3-in-1 scallop circle punch, and I have pre-punched out some pieces using the papers that we've already used here. So I've got white, I've got some of this yellow stripe, I've got the canary cardstock, I've got the aqua cardstock and some white. So I just thought we could kind of play around a little bit with that, and I just need to leave some space for journaling. So maybe like down here, maybe something like something like that might be kind of cute. Maybe. And just kind of do a little bit more of that around here. Maybe instead of that, use that. Oops. And then a few more over here. Got this white doesn't really show up a lot on the white kind of behind there like that. This one's a little tricky because of the color options, but maybe something. Maybe something like that. Looking for another one of the, just have the yellow. I do have it in red. I could use the flip side of the red actually, which is a cute little pattern paper. Maybe do that somewhere else too to kind of, actually might be cute to do it down here instead of just straight up white. Maybe add a little, yeah, I think that works great. Makes it, just adds a little bit of fun to it. This one has a little more better color pattern. There, just something like that. And I have plenty of extra to use somewhere else if I want to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tack these down. Use my repo tape runner because some of them are a little bit small, but just like that. And you'll notice I'm working in groups of threes for the most part on these. It's because odd numbers catch the eye a little bit better. Oops, I have that in here. Please into the eye. All right. All right, so all that's left to do is title it and finish my journaling. I'm not sure what that's gonna put the title, what to do with the title yet. I think I'll probably use my die cut alphabet letters, but it needs to be short. Those letters are a little bit large. So gonna have to come up with something just that's short here, like I don't know, date night, or that's a little bit long. It was like I was hoping for like a one word title. So I'm gonna have to think on that. But other than that, the page is done, came together pretty quickly, and add that to our list of completed pages for the year, guys. So awesome. All right. Any questions, any thoughts about that? All right. Let's go on to sketch number two. Sketch number two, another single page sketch. This one has three photos. Um, I so I had a dilemma about this sketch about if I should include one of the photos in it because one of the photos was actually taken today, which is not October. Um, but the bulk of the page took place in October, so I'm going to include it. If you've been following my website and following the CM Virtual Crop Group, you'll know that they had a really fun little contest recently where you completed a page complete using a sketch, and you was in a contest and people voted on it. And I was really very fortunate to have my sketch chosen as a finalist, and I actually won a grand prize I found out today. So that was just really, really great. So, so cool. And thrilled. I'm just beyond thrilled about that. All right. So this sketch has a little bit more layering. Like I said, I think it works well as a companion page with the first sketch that we did. So if you wanted to do that, I think you absolutely could. It just has three photos. Again, the photos are 3x5s, a base page, one layer over the top, and then kind of a strip down the middle, and then the photos are matted. So again, this is a really simple and quick page to put together. I'm using Halloween colors because the contest was called the Spooktacular Page Challenge. So I'm using black and then two different shades of orange. And then I'm going to map my photos in yet another page of orange. These all came from the gradient papers that were released in the last 6 months or so. One of the things I am doing with this, guys, is that my photos are not this orientation. I am going to turn this 90 degrees so that I have one horizontal and two verticals. And so that it's just going to slightly change the page, but not a whole lot because it's fairly symmetrical. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere my layer. This layer is 10 1/4 by 8 3/4. And it is centered from top to bottom, but it's going to be about a 1/2 inch from the top. Excuse me, from the right-hand side. Oops. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is a banner. You could leave it as just a straight strip like this, or you could cut the banner flag out of the end of that. There's a few different ways that you can do that. You can do a little fold. I don't love folding my paper, but you could do a little fold and crease the corner that's going to be the end that you cut off like this. You can put it in your trimmer and do a 45-degree cut, or you can just take a pair of scissors and eyeball it and freehand it if you'd like, which is what I'm gonna do. And so I ended up cutting, what was that, about 1/2 inch to the middle. You can draw pencil lines to make that work, or whatever. And as I look at this, you guys, I think I'm going to use the back side of this. I was planning on using the orange stripe, but I think I'm going to use this side. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just adhere this down. And I'm gonna do that about 2 inches down from the top. Okay. I have my one of my photos matted. And here's my others. I'm gonna actually, rather than a traditional title, I did do some screenshots of the contest posts and artwork. So and then I printed those out, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. And I'm gonna just eyeball that, and this one as well. I'm gonna line it up like so. All right. And then my journal box is gonna go there. And then these guys are what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna just kind of dance these up here and where the title would be. So this is the promo for the contest, and then this is the sketch. Maybe I guess, you know what, I can bring this down a little bit so I can show it all a little bit better. Yeah, something like that. All right, so that's excuse me, the dry fit on that. I'm going to go ahead and adhere these down. These photos, I think I mentioned, are all 3x5 photos, and then the mats are 3.5 by 5.5. Go line that up at the bottom. See how that looks. And for the embellishments, I have some stickers that are from the Totally Tonals. I have orange and pumpkin. So between those two shades of orange, we should be able to come up with some cute titles and embellishments to add on here. So just going to do my journaling here. I've got these there. I kind of feel like this on top. I'll just make that a little bit more of the focus. And then I just want some add some embellishments down here. You know, I think I do want to move this up a bit. I'm going to put the embellishments in this corner here, down here. And I think by moving that up, it just makes it a little bit more balanced. So I'll put some embellishments here. I'll probably put some here and maybe just a little flourish over here somewhere if I can fit it in. I don't want to cover it up too much because my photos really tell the story. Like literally there's verbiage on there that tells us where we're at. Okay, so let's just see what we have here. I have lots of orange stickers, but I want something that's got you know, that kind of suits the mood. So let's see, maybe there's a how sweet it is because I did win a contest. Lots of love, neat, perfection, style, find joy, you're the best, lots of love, good times, neat. Wow. Yeah, there's a wow here. I like the wow. And I think I'll probably pair that with I've got some flags and some stars here. It's polka dot. Let's see here. Maybe like this. I think. Yeah. Like that. Okay, and so that one, I want to put that there. That. That will fit there. I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. And how sweet it is. Just gonna get another circle here. Here. And I'm gonna grab a star. Star for me here, probably a lighter colored one. Something like that. Oops. I get my all right. And then I wanted to do just a little something there. I love this kind of flourish kind of pop out. With maybe and maybe another tag. A ribbon. Get that straight. The picture is on an angle and I put the sticker on an angle, but it looks funny. Okay. All right. Really easy. Just a couple of little embellishment clusters and there you have it. And I just need to write my journaling there. So there we are, page 2. We are flying tonight, you guys. These sketches are just so nice and simple and make such nice, clean, beautiful pages. And I can't wait to see your versions of them as we, when you post yours. I can't wait to see how you're making them your own. Okay. Bear with me for just a second. I'm going to take a little drink break. All right. Sketch number 3. This one, I am not 100% sure. It's going to be a game time decision about what I'm going to use for the background pages, my base pages. It's going to be cardstock. I'm just not sure if I'm going to go with a monochromatic look and make them green, or if I'm going to do something that's a little bit more contrast and go with the beige. So this is the sketch. I've added a lot of photos to this sketch, guys. I'm gonna do a total of 8 photos on this layout. So it shows 5, and I'm gonna bump that up to 8. So there'll be 4 on this page and 4 on this page. Again, a fairly straightforward, some not a ton of layering, a little bit of piecing, and I'm not changing the orientation, but I am changing the sizes. So the photos I'm going to be using are coming from one of my favorite places. You guys have seen me scrap this before, Sweetwater Wetlands. We went there the other evening, and in the evening, so with the weather finally cooling down, we can go out and do some things in the evening, but the days are getting so much shorter that it's you kind of have to be rush yourself to get going. So these pages are mirror images of one another. In terms of the layouts, I used scraps of paper, but you could also make them mirror images with the paper that you have on hand. These larger pieces are going to be 7 by 9, and I have one of 2 different patterns. And then these smaller pieces are 4 by 5, and they just go off on the sides like this. Now, you could do this a lot of different ways. If you had the paper, you could use this pattern over here and this pattern over here. You could do these 2 the same. So it really just depends on, on what you have and how you like it. So I think I just want to measure, kind of get my pieces in the right spot here. And that's about where I want them. I've got it, I actually have it centered. Maybe it could go up just a little bit, like 1 inch from the top. Do that 1 inch from the top. Something like that. Okay, and then there's a border, there's paper strip and then also a border at the bottom. I layered my paper strip to give it a little bit of interest. And I also used the new rhythm blade. So we have a couple, or twist. We have a couple of new decorative blades for the 12-inch trimmer, rhythm and twist. And I use twist on this. It's like a short and a long wave. When at first glance, it looks very similar to the wavy blade. But if you look at it carefully, you'll realize it's not, that each of the waves, if you will, are different lengths. I hope that makes sense. And I'm just going to offset this about a little less than 1/4 of an inch, maybe like 3/8 or something like that. 3/8 is more than 1/4 of an inch. It's more than an eighth, it's less than 1/4. 3/16 I think is where I was going with that. And so then these will just layer over the top of that, just enough to let it show through. And then I have this sticker pack. So this is a sticker pack that I don't quite remember the name of, guys. It was a standalone sticker pack. And it's all got these just really beautiful, neutral, natural colors, and very perfect for outdoorsy things. So wood grains and greens and some kind of steel gray. So these are super pretty. So I'm gonna put these this border here down along the bottom. And then actually I might do that one along the top. I don't know, I'm gonna have to take a look and see what I think it's gonna have to come off. So the options are to put it down. Let's see, and if I put it down here, I think it looks better at the top. So this one is gonna go at the top. And then I've got this other border sticker that I'll put along the bottom. And I think in doing that, then I'm gonna go ahead and trim off this bottom edge. Let's see. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and trim these borders down. Make sure I have my straight edge blade in there. And I'm just gonna trim that so that it doesn't show through when I adhere the sticker to the edge. If it's not exact, it's okay. Okay, so I can go ahead and start adhering so that I can get my border stickers down. I'm gonna do that at the 1-inch line. I had a hard time choosing the back side of this paper. Is really pretty too. Isn't that the way it always is? But I just thought that this gave it a nice look. Right. So I think I mentioned it, but the larger pieces are 7 by 9 and the smaller pieces are 4 by 5. All right, so now we've got a nice mirror image layout. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this border along the bottom. Just kind of kiss the top of that. All right, and I have this border strip. I'm just gonna go ahead and put right along the bottom here. This gives it a nice little touch, just a little something extra. Draws your attention to it. Brings in some color variations. This finishes the edge really nicely. So then here at the top, these guys, I have to cut this border because it's going to go on both edges of this here. And I think I'm going to put this, such a challenge with these holes in here. So let's see. Just positioning this just so. I'm just gonna kind of round the edges of that a little bit. Do the same in there. I'm just gonna tuck it under here just a little bit. And line it up at the bottom here, or at the right hand edge there. Like that. Trim this edge of the sticker. So when we went to Sweetwater, we usually, I'm a very amateur birder, but I do enjoy going to see the birds. There's a lot of birds there. And when the night that we went, there were not a ton of birds out, but we saw so many things. We saw a bobcat, two bobcats, bobcat siblings. There have been a pair of bobcat kittens hanging out at Sweetwater. Let's see, all since spring. So I had heard about them and had just missed them several times just from reports of people telling us. And so we saw them, which was really cool. We were a little bit a ways off in the distance, but still it was really, they're so cute. We saw a really super cute bunny and the usual birds. Nothing special. So the usuals would be things like red-winged blackbirds and grackles and quail and that kind of thing. All right, so I've got the borders down. So the base of the layout is done. Now we just need to put on our pictures and embellishments. So I opted to go the layout, the sketch shows 2 4x6 photos, but I'm going to use 2 3/4 by 6 photos. We saw a beautiful rainbow and the sunset. It was a really pretty night out. And this photo, that one covers up most of that border there. And then over here, I'm using, the photos are 3x3 and the mats are 3.5 by 3.5. There's my cute little bobcat. I don't know if you can see it. So the matted size is 3.5 by 3.5. All right, and that's easy peasy, right? We'll go ahead and adhere these down. I'm going to do this side first so then I can line up the other side with it, because these are the ones that are just a little bit snug in this sheet here. And I'm just going to line this up right at the top of that sticker. I could actually even go over a little bit like that, and then center it in the middle. I don't really love the way that it looks over it, so I might actually try to tuck it under it if I can get the sticker to come up just a little bit. Down a smidge just to center that a little bit better. All right, this is where we test our, that should come up just fine. If you don't have a multi-purpose tool, you need one. I use mine on nearly every layout I make. I love that, the multi-purpose tool. Like that. I do want to want the border to just show out from behind. Okay, so now I'm going to use the bottom edge here to line these photos up here, going in about the same distance from the right edge as this one is from the left edge, and then lining it up at the bottom. Definitely this story on this page will be about seeing the bobcats, although we saw a really fleeting glance of a double rainbow, just a partial double rainbow. The sunset was really beautiful. And we saw a really cute little bunny. Cute bunny rabbit. It's not quite straight here. All right. So I've got my 5 photos adhered, and then a journal box. Journaling needs to go up here. I think, let me see what I have. I didn't grab a journal box. Let's see if I have something in the green family that I can use. I might have a little something. Let's see here. These are more bright green than olive green. And the colors on this page tend to go more olive. This one is too light. But this is an old one. It would actually go really well. I wonder if I have some more of those. I have a full size of these, and I could cut it down. That's too bad. Okay, I'm still looking. I am still looking. These old map packs actually look really nice with this paper, but they're all of mine are the big 4x6 mats. I don't have anything else. I think I already tried that one. I think this one's too blue. Yeah. That might work. Do I have some to go both ways? Yeah. Also use a brown one if I had it. But I don't know what I have for brown ones. This is the Quite the Blast from the Past matte pack. This is loaded with old CM mats from back in the day. I don't see anything brown. I think that there's this brown, but that actually probably wouldn't look terrible. That's a possibility. There's another similar piece of that might work better actually. All right, so I have a couple options there. This one goes this way, which would give me a little bit more journaling there. This one, I probably have to trim it down, but it'd still probably be okay. I don't have a lot to write about that, especially considering I go there all the time. There's only so much you can say about bird watching at Sweetwater when there's not, like I didn't have a lifer or anything like that. So we'll see. Okay, so let's embellish. Here's my embellishment stickers. I used those already. This has some nice, really cute little dots on that. I might end up using those. Let's see if I can find something that's a little bit of a title. Simple Moments, I think works for this one. It's the simple things in life. I would like a title. I would like the title to go the long way if I could, like here, but I think I might not necessarily have that option with the stickers that I have here, which is okay. Let's see. So I think I'll go ahead and use this, simple things in life. And put some of these. This is a good. I could definitely, because this portion of the photo actually doesn't really convey anything. So I think I could definitely put this, just trying to see what works here. I could definitely do something like that and maybe tuck that under there like that. And then maybe put that there. Yeah. Yeah, I think that works for sure. And then I want another embellishment cluster like down here. Got a few things. This is funny. There's a sticker here that says, "Now that's going in the scrapbook." Isn't that awesome? We love that so much. Huh. Let's see. There's also here and now. XXL. I'm gonna put that there to draw attention to our friend the bobcat. Here. I'm just getting a little fussy with these embellishments or this sticker here. I just feel like it needs a little something to be straight. Oh, there's a I feel like a flourish of some sort down here would be good. These are awful big. Maybe this is where I would Oops. Something like that. Kind of brings these two together a little bit. It's kind of a repeating pattern over there. I think that's really all it needs. I could probably fool around with this for a while if I was so inclined, but I think that's great. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just trim this down to maybe like a 3 inch. I might offset that with some of these circle stickers over here at some of this. Like that, I need to straighten them up a little bit. Just kind of, let's go on a little bit more. All right. So third layout done. All right, we've just got one more. We're going in record time tonight, you guys. That was sketch number 3. Looks great. Sketch number 4 is another 2-page sketch. This one I'm using the Heartfelt Noteworthy Days collection. This was a promo collection. I think it was a buy get. So if you haven't seen this one, that's why. It's really beautiful though. It's got the purples and greens in it, which are, my very, very favorite color combination. You have probably heard me say that a number of times. So the sketch tonight, this one is really fun. It uses shapes. It shows hexagons, and that's what I'm going to use. I love hexagons and I love this look. This layout is really simple. It's just, again, mirrored pages, left to right, and really simple cuts. I'm going to map my photos. And I also have gutted the page. So you can see that it's a base page with one layer on top, and then just 2 photos on each, 2 horizontal and 2 vertical. And then you've got your clusters in the bottom right and your top left corners with your hexagons. Now you can use any shape with this, guys, and circles, squares, anything you'd like would work with that. But I am using the hexagon punch. All right. There's my embellishment pack. I'll set those aside. We'll get to that later. Here's my photos. So this is, these are pictures from, I did a beginning scrapbooker class not too long ago. And so I'm going to put this album actually in my Creative Memories demo album, not this album, this layout. I had a couple of journal boxes to choose from. I'm not sure which one we'll use. These actually came from a cut apart page. So the back side of these are photo mats and titles. So this was a cut apart page, which was really pretty. It was hard to decide what to use. But I used this back side so that they would all be the same. All right. The base paper I'm using is this sort of light colored tonal. I did go ahead and gut out the center of that. And then you can use those for photo mats or just for something to have later. But it also helps keep your pages a little more lightweight and less bulky. Um, so I gutted them at a 1.5 inch frame. So I took out 1.5 inches out from that. These pieces are 10 by 10 and they just get centered right in the middle of the page. It could not be any easier. By the way, you do not have to gut your paper. That's strictly optional. It's just something I do to save paper and to cut back on the weight. But certainly you don't have to do that. And it sure is easy just to go ahead and put a piece down on your entire base. So up to you. Isn't the backside of this paper gorgeous, you guys? We are going to see that again. Again, it was super hard choosing what paper to use, what side of the paper to use, because they were both so pretty. But I wanted a pattern because there's, it's only 2 photos per page. And I wanted to kind of use the decorative element of more of a statement paper. All right, and then, like I said, this is really straightforward. My journaling is going to go over here. These 2 horizontal photos are going to go at the bottom and that one there. And these 2 go here. So they are centered across the page, but from top to bottom, they're just kind of down about equidistant, maybe like a 1/2 inch from each of the sides and from the bottom. And again, you can place them wherever, whatever you like. I'm eyeballing it. I'm not measuring it at all. Just making it even. I love these colors so much. Absolutely gorgeous pages. I did manage to get 2 sets of this, so even though I'm kind of in my head saying, a little sad to be using this paper, you know how it is when you have like your favorite paper and you're like, why? It's just so hard to use up paper that you like really well, which is so ironic, right? Like we get it to use it, but when we like it so much, it's hard to use. Okay, so now then, the decorative bits of this are these hexagons. So in the interest of time, I pre-cut most of these. I cut them out of that green scrap, the backside of this base paper. And then I also cut some out of blue and out of this really pretty dark turquoise. I have a few more to cut just so you can see how I'm doing that. I have a few more of the blue ones to do. And this is really easy. You just place the paper in the punch. I like to just check the bottom to make sure it looks okay. And it does. So I just need 3 more. So I just squeeze the punch and get 3 more out of there. All right. And the back side of this paper is really pretty too. You could mix and match some of that. It's got some blue hearts, and the back side of this is not, it's just a really light tonal. So there's not enough contrast on it. All right, so I think this is just kind of an exercise where you can play around with this a little bit, make sure you get your spacing right. This probably is a little fussy, to be honest, but it's not difficult. You just need to take a little bit of time, get your colors the way you want them to be. I guess this would go over here and then another one. This would go here. And then a third layer goes down here. And to that, that, and that. I think it's hard to avoid getting, oh no, that should be that one. And then that one. And then we've got 3 down here, one of each color. Just repeat that up here. Okay. I'm just looking at how I did the bottom. I'm gonna mirror it, or the top. I'm just gonna mirror it so that it's very similar. But you could just do it however it works for you. Let's see. Swap those. Blue for the next and green for the next. I'm gonna have to go back and position these a little bit better. Let's see, is that right? There's 5 along the bottom, so it's 2, 4, and 5. Okay, so those are my extras at the moment. Okay, so let's just get these on here. I think about like that. And I'm just dry fitting these in place so that I know that they work the way that they're supposed to. We don't have a bunch of, let's see. I'm gonna need to cut another one of those, but I could put an embellishment on top of it. Okay, and then down here, this kind of goes off the page a little bit like this. This is tucked under here. This one goes like this. So like swap this. This one goes. This works perfectly, actually. I'm struggling with this a little bit, trying to follow the guide, but it doesn't work exactly right. I think maybe like something like that would be better. Yeah, I'll get that sorted. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for this page. Um, I probably should use repo on these. I feel like there's a good chance I might need to make adjustments. This is a little tedious, but I don't know about you guys. Sometimes it's just exactly the kind of thing I need. What do you guys think of this technique and this pattern? Too fussy for you or worth the effort? I think it's worth the effort. I think it looks nice and just it's a little bit different than you're not going to do every page this way. So when you do something like this, it really gives it a nice pop and really stands out nicely in on your page. I already put those down. It's a little bit. That looks pretty good. This one first, like that. Next. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Then I'll trim the edge off of that. And then over here, I'll do something similar. That could go there. Yeah. All right, I'm getting there, guys. We're getting there. And then this over just a touch. Mm, this one is a little bit different. Alright, and this one goes here. And then I think I'll use that one. Trim this up just a little bit. Grab my embellishments here. Right. Finish this off with the journaling box. And let's get some embellishments on here. Okay, so I think I want to put the title here. And then just, we don't need a ton of embellishments because of this nice pattern that we have with the hexagons. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and I have one that says wonderful and one that says snapshots. I think maybe wonderful. I also really love this creating memories. Of a lovingness that I really like. Out there with these embellishment icons have a lot of hearts in them, which is not necessarily always my go-to, but we can make it work. And so I think I'll use wonderful, and I like this heart. I don't know that that heart works for that. It's too floral, maybe. I don't know. Try. Need some contrast on this paper because it is so dark. Um, I'm gonna cut off the balloon. Balloons just to me are like celebration, and this is not a celebration page. So I just trimmed off the little end there. And I think I'll just do something like that. Right there. Oh, I just realized my picture's on upside down over here. Oops, don't want to do that. That's been fixed. Simple page. I just need to add my journaling. Just trim up my little edges a little bit here with my scissors. You could put them in your trimmer too and trim up that edge. But this is easy enough. You can just do it with your scissors. I've got nice clean edges and a fun page. So let me know what you think of the pages that we did tonight, guys. Which one's your favorite? I'd love to see your versions of them in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to my other camera. Oops. Here I am. So thanks everyone again for joining me tonight. We got done in record time. I hope I didn't go too fast. I did want to make sure that you know, you got the gist of each of the page. I think we did that. These are all really straightforward sketches. So I think, you know, that they turned out great. I'm really happy with my catch up for October. So join me again next time. I have to double check the date. I think it is November. It's Sunday, November 30th is our next catch-up crop. So keep that in mind as you're taking photos this month. And thank you for hanging out with me and staying caught up on your pages. Until next time, happy scrapping, you guys. Have a good night.